which really, this does lead me to the third critical choice, which was for me to build trust in myself and then ultimately inspire the trust of others. I learned how to build trust in myself by doing the little things great at Gold's Gym. I really did. Like, that is really where I started to inspire trust in myself. So let me just start with, has there been a time, well, will you share a time in which you built trust in yourself, and how'd you do it?
Well, it's kind of funny because, again, I reflect back to that time in my life where, I just knew I wanted a shot in the fitness industry. But, other than teaching group fitness classes and working with personal trainers, I really didn't have any real experience about the business of fitness. And sometimes in the fitness industry, we forget that it really is a business.
Yeah.
As much as we want to help people, at the end of the day, there are certain key aspects of the business that have to line up, that you have to commit to foundationally, behaviorally, every single day in order to be successful. And I think sometimes building trust, for me anyway, in myself, was just like you said, you start getting some small wins. In the beginning, I'm selling memberships, the other more experienced people were coming to me, saying, well, did you say this? Did you say that? How come she left? And it's like, because she wasn't ready. Right. Think about it, for God's sake, And so it was kind of funny because, I listened to other people, tried a few new things. And what I really found was that when I was myself and when I forgot that I was selling something, and instead I was using a much more consultative approach to working with people that came in that really wanted to join a gym because they saw something that they needed to change. And when I started focusing on the person in front of me as a person, instead of, oh my God, I don't want to have to call my stats in at night and report a goose egg. So when I started focusing on the people instead of the end result, I started to rack up some wins. And I started to rack up some wins really quickly because I found an approach and a way to work with clients that worked for them. It worked for me. They trusted me because I wasn't coming across as somebody who was just looking for another commission or another sale that they could post, on a stat sheet somewhere. They recognized that the way that I was speaking to them, the questions that I was asking in order to get to know them and what was important to them, was what made them trust me. And then when they trusted me, then the relationship was in balance. They felt like they were forced to make a decision that really wasn't good for them. And instead, together, many, many, many times over the years, when I would be working with folks in clubs, that was always my approach. And almost 90% of the time, it was successful. They walked away happy. They didn't feel like they got strong-armed into something. They consciously made a good decision that was hopefully going to impact their life in a positive way. And, and everybody was happy and I was happy and I felt good about what I was doing. I didn't feel like a salesperson. I felt like a coach. And so once I changed that mindset, that really helped me. Then I started racking up some wins, right? And people start to talk all the time. Somebody in a Facebook group the other day was like, I just need motivation. And the person spoke up and said, no, what you need to do is take some action. And when you take some action and you get some results, then you're going to have the motivation and the confidence to continue. And I was like, bingo.
God,
boiled that right down, because you hear that in the fitness industry all day long. I just need motivation. No, you need to get started. Wins are going to build your confidence. And then when you build your confidence, then you trust that you trust yourself, that you know what you're doing, and then you can do more of what you know works.
100% agree and embrace and have experienced exactly the advice and wisdom that you are giving.
Oh, good.
I mean, I feel like I need to spend more time with you. So, Oh, you know what popped in my mind? Now I'm going to take us back, but then I am going to move forward. When I was thinking about two-way agreements with you and ad building trust, these two choices, you have been a senior level executive for many, many years, and you have created meaningful, valuable, significant contractual partnerships with companies, and my observation with you is that you did that because you treated the company and company as person and person. Exactly what you were just talking about. You're a human being. I'm a human being. You need to want something. I need to want something. We can be in balance together. And so I just think what you said, am I right? That philosophy flowed up to your partnership level, contractual, sales?
Very smart person that I worked with back in California. One day we were talking about something, and we were talking about something that had not gone our way. And I don't even really remember what it was. And I remember her saying to me, well, the whole thing was out of balance from the begin with. Have you ever seen how when bad things happen or things go off track in life, it's always because something's out of balance? And that really stuck with me, because most of my, I'm no different than anybody else. I mean, I've had bad things happen to me. I've had things not go my way. And a lot of times when I look back on how a situation that I thought was under control got out of control, it was because some aspect of it was really out of balance. And even with partnerships, the thing that makes me the most uncomfortable when I start getting involved in partnership discussions is when I can see in the discussion that something is super out of balance. Either I think it's going to be out of balance for our organization, and that makes me uncomfortable, or I feel like just from the partner's perspective, their perception is that something's out of balance and now they're uncomfortable. And when something's out of balance, you're never going to reach an agreement. It's just human nature. When something feels wrong or off balance, then the conversation typically is going to go awry. And it's not going to get back on track until somebody in the conversation says, you know what, let's grind it. Let's come to a halt. Let's get things back in balance and talk about what's going to feel good for you and for us. How do we get there? And it took me a long time to learn that, but it's held me in some good stead, especially in the role that I'm in now, which is all partner development.
Awesome. Thank you for expanding. Thank you for allowing me to go backwards before we move forwards.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Choose and Become interview series. To check out more episodes, go to www.trishkendall.com/podcast, or go to any of your favorite podcast channels, including YouTube, under Trish Kendall Speaks, and you'll find this interview and more. Choose and Become.